Hello and welcome to the second module of quantitative techniques video lecture number 26. In today's video lecture we are going to discuss and start a new module for you, that is module number 2, theory of probability. So let us begin. Students, you might have come across many such instances where you have told something like the chances of winning a match, or you might have even heard about chances of survival of a patient are so and so. For example, the chances of Australia winning the next World Cup is 60%. So this is the kind of thing that you keep on telling without knowing that you are actually telling a probability, that is probability of Australia winning the next World Cup. So what happens in this case is you are telling probably, means the chances that Australia wins the World Cup is 60%, which means out of every 100 attempts Australia can win the World Cup 60 number of times. So in such a case what happens is it is a probability, that is 60% probability or 60% chances of happening of the event, that is Australia winning and lifting the World Cup. So in many day-to-day life also we say that are you going to come to college tomorrow? Maybe it is 50%, 50-50. So when you say this kind of a thing, it is nothing but probability. We use probability in everyday situation, but in statistics we can use probability to find out the chances of happening or not happening of an event using this probability theory. So let us see, or before beginning this module, let us understand some of the technicalities, some of the technical definitions which are involved in probability. So by definition, if we want to define probability, then what is probability? Probability is basically the chance of happening of an event, that is it tells you numerically what is the chances of happening of an event. In our earlier example we said that chances that Australia wins the World Cup is 50%. So 50, that is a number that, or 60%, sorry, 60 was the number that we expressed, that is the chances of Australia winning the World Cup was 60%. So when we express numerically or when we measure numerically the chances of happening or occurrence of an event, that is known as probability. So probability is the numerical measure of the chance of happening of an event. Now mathematically, if you want to write what is probability, probability can be written as probability is of an event A, say, is equals to m upon n. Well, what is m? M is nothing but number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of possible outcomes. See, probability is generally expressed in terms of percentage in general life, but probability can also be expressed in terms of fractions, that is in mathematically, or it can also be expressed in terms of decimal points. So if you are expressing probability in terms of percentage, the value of probability will lie between 0% and 100%, whereas if you are expressing the probability in terms of a fraction or a decimal, then the value of probability will lie between 0 and 1. 0 and 1 inclusive, that is it can be 0, it can be 1, and it can be anything between 0 and 1. So you cannot have any probability or any event which has a probability of more than 1 or less than 0. It can be 0, it can be 1, and it can be any number between 0 and 1, but it cannot be above 1 and it cannot be less than 0. So it cannot be negative also. So similarly, percentage wise also it cannot be negative percentage, also it cannot be more than 100%. So this is about probability, and that is why mathematically we represent probability in terms of a fraction, where the probability of any event is equal to the number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of possible outcomes. So this is how we write probability. So here is the formula to find out probability. Probability is nothing but it is the total number of possible outcomes divided by the total number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of possible outcomes. Now, when we are talking about probability, there are certain other definitions that are very important for us to understand before we go into probability in depth. The first one, which is very important, normally asked in your question paper for 2 marks, that is experiment. So what is an experiment? Now, experiment, or it is also known as sometimes a trial, but what exactly is a trial will come to that point later. Experiment, for the time being, you understand that it is any process that yields well defined results. It is any process that yields well defined results, that is known as an experiment. So if there is a process or any activity that you are performing and it is giving you well defined results out of that, that is, there are certain outcomes out of it, then such kind of a process or such kind of an activity is known as an experiment. Now we'll take examples of what experiments are, so you will get clarity, but before that we need to understand what is an outcome. So outcome of what? Outcome of a experiment. So what is an outcome? An outcome is a result of an experiment. See here, in this stage you are conducting an experiment here. Okay, once you conduct an experiment, you will get certain well defined results. These results itself are known as outcomes, right? These results are known as outcomes. So a result is of an experiment is called an outcome. Now next important definition, sample space, another normally repeated question in your examination. What is sample space? So sample space is a set of all the possible outcomes of a random experiment. It is denoted by S, capital letter S. So what is sample space? It is a set that contains all the possible outcomes, that is all the possible results of a random experiment. It is denoted by S. Now let's take an example. It becomes much more clear to understand. Example for the above, that is for experiment. Now what can be an experiment? We have taken an example of tossing of a coin. Suppose if we are tossing a coin, one fair coin, once we are tossing. So what are the possible outcomes of a the possible outcomes are, it can be a head or it can be a tail. It can be a head or it can be a tail, right? Is there any other possible result or possible outcome of that experiment? Experiment is any activity that has well defined results. Okay, so when we toss a coin, we have well defined results. Either we'll get this or we'll get this. So it might be a head or a tail. So we may get a head or we may get a tail. Now once we get either a head or a tail, then if we write all the possible outcomes in form of a sample set, that is sample space, denoted by S. So S is equals to flower bracket H comma T, where H represents heads and T represents tail. So experiment is here the tossing of the coin, then sample space is H comma T. It what all results are possible, you have to think and put it in a form of a set, then that becomes your sample space. And outcomes possible are H, T, individual outcomes. So these outcomes are actually the subset of sample space. Now we'll take one more example to understand this further. Now one more example for this might be, what might be an experiment? A rolling of a dice. Cannot write this properly. Dice. A rolling of a dice. So in Ludo you might have used dice. So one dice only you are rolling it. So when you roll dice, what is the sample space possible? S equal to, the sample space possible is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So this is the sample space that is possible. That is these are the possible outcomes of the experiment. If you just think, when you roll a dice, what are the possible outcomes that may come? It may be 1, it may be 2, it may be 3, it may be 4, it may be 5, or it may be 6. So this is the sample space. Okay, now what are the possible outcomes? Possible outcomes of that experiment may be either 1, all 2, all 3, and all 4, all 5, and so on, all 6. So these are the possible outcomes. So you will get only one outcome from an experiment, but when you put all the outcomes together in a set, it is known as a sample space. I hope you are understanding this. Then comes the event. What is an event? An event is a set of outcomes of a random experiment. So example, I'll just give you an example. When throwing a dice A is an event of getting an even number. So what is an event? Event is a set of outcomes. It may be one outcome or it may be some outcomes. So it is a set consisting of some outcomes of a random experiment. Like for example, when you're throwing a dice, so when you're throwing a dice, your sample space, as I've shown you, it consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items. Now suppose if I say an event is even number coming up, so how many even numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, total 3 even numbers are there, that is 2, 4, and 6. So 2, 4, and 6 is your event A, right? So the same thing is given here. When throwing a dice, A is an event of getting an even number. So if that is the case, then sample space is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Event A is 2, 4, 6. So when in simple terms, when you are gonna find out an event, what you have to do is you have to first write the sample space. The sample space should contain all the possible results. What all results are possible out of it? Then out of that, you have to pick only those items which are appropriate to that event. So in this case, event A is an even number coming up. So even number coming up means out of all these 6 numbers here, you have to pick up even numbers, and that will form one more set, set A, which represents the event A. So event is always a subset of a sample space. Subset means you are picking up some or maybe all the items from sample space. There will, all these items which are there will belong to the sample space itself. So sample space is a big item set. From there only you are picking up certain items, and that is why event A, that is set A, will be a subset of sample space. Let's move further to exhaustive events. Exhaustive events, very important definition when we think about classical probability approach. So exhaustive events are the total number of possible outcomes of any random experiment. We'll just go one step behind and see what is a sample space. Now sample space here, in this case, what was the sample space when you roll a dice? When you roll a dice, the sample space was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Was there any other result possible when you roll a dice? No, there was no other result possible when you roll a dice. So when there is no other result that is possible, this set is an exhaustive set, means it exhausts all the possible outcomes. After these outcomes, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there is no other outcome that is possible. Hence this list was exhaustive. So exhaustive events are the total number of possible outcomes of an random experiment. So when you conduct an experiment and you get a set which contains all the possible outcomes of the event or maybe of the experiment, then such a set is known as an exhaustive set or exhaustive number of items. So in short, it is the sample space itself, number of items in the sample space. Now comes the next definition, that is equiprobable events. As the name suggests, equi, which means equal, probable, that means probability, chances of happening. So equal chances of happening of events. So these are also known as equally likely events. Likelihood of happening a event is equal. It means, right? I'll just go through this definition once more. If you break the word, you can understand the meaning here itself. Equi means equal, okay, and probable means probability, that is chances of happening or chances of occurrence. So if there is equal chance of happening of an event, then such events are known as equiprobable events. Similarly, these equiprobable events are also known as equally likely events. Why? Because the same thing, instead of there's some other that is it is a synonym, actually same meaning a word. So equally likely events, these events, if two or more events are said to be equally likely if they have the same probability, that is same chance of happening, if it is there, then they are known as equally likely events. So two or more events are said to be equally likely if they have an equal chance of occurrence. While tossing an unbiased coin, I will come back to this when we are solving an example, unbiased coin. So when we are tossing an unbiased coin, the event head and tails are equally likely. Yes, why? Because what is the chances of head coming? When I ask you, you say that it is 50%, right? And what is the chances of tail coming up? You will say that it is also 50%. So there are equal chances of happening of events, unless it is a Cholet coin where both the sides you have heads. So what happens here is, in this case, heads also has 50% of chances, tails also has 50% of chances, and that is why this is an example of equally likely events. So while tossing an unbiased coin, the events, that is heads and tails, are equally likely events. And coming to our last definition for today, that is mutually exclusive event. Again the name, mutual means two, okay, exclusive, exclusion means leaving the other events. These events are also known as disjoint set, okay, disjoint, they are not joined to each other. Why? Because when you draw a Venn diagram, you will get something like this. This kind of structure where set A is this and set B is this, okay, this kind of structure you will get. Now when see here, two or more events are said to be mutually exclusive events if occurrence of one event prevents the occurrence of all other events, okay, if occurrence of one event prevents the occurrence of all other events in a single trial, or two or more events are mutually exclusive if only one of them can occur at a time. Any of these definitions you can use when you are telling about mutually exclusive events. See, mutually exclusive events, two or more events are said to be mutually exclusive if one thing is happening, and because that thing has happened, other things cannot happen at that time. If that is the scenario, if that is the scene, then these events are said to be mutually exclusive. For example, when you toss a coin up, you will get head or tail. Will you get head and tail? No, you will never get head and tail. You will always get either a head or a tail, and that is why when head comes, tail will not come. When tail comes, head will not come, and that is why head and tail are said to be mutually exclusive events. For example, we'll just go through the other definition also. Two or more events are mutually exclusive if only one of them can occur at a time. See here, again this case, only one can happen at a time, both cannot happen at a time. So that is why in this experiment, that is tossing of a coin, the results head and tail, that is events that head turns up and event that tails turn up, is mutually exclusive. Similarly, in rolling of a dice, suppose if you take an example of rolling of a dice, the events of getting an even number, okay, and getting an odd number are mutually exclusive. Definitely, when you roll a dice, what will you get? Either you will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So one of these 6, you will get. So if you may either get a even number or you may get a odd number. So that is why both together you cannot get. So that is why both these events, that is even number and odd number coming up, are mutually exclusive events. There won't be any common items in both these sets. If you see set A, if contains all the even numbers 2, 4 and 6. Set B contains all the odd numbers 1, 3 and 5, and there is no common, and that is why intersection of A and B is always a null set. There is no common things. This is known as, this sign is known as intersection sign. Okay, intersection. There are two different signs that we are going to learn. One is intersection and the other one is union. Okay, this is union, this is intersection. Now now that I've already said that this is the last, we'll stop here. In the next class we shall continue with all the other related examples. I hope you have understood this mutually exclusive events. Just go through these things whatever I have showed you. You can note down this theory in your book also. Okay, after you solve the regression problems, this is your model number 2, remember. Okay, so model number 2, what you have to do is write this theory. If you want the PDF of this, I'll send you the PDF of this also. Okay, so keep your book completed. With this we'll stop today here.